The mystery of the famous WOW signal is almost solved. And no, it's not from aliens. Watch the video until the end and you'll find out the natural explanation for this signal, an explanation recently discovered by astronomers. You are the astronomer Jerry Ekman, and it's the summer of 1977. You are at the Big Ear Radio Telescope of Ohio University, in a room full of paper records, each covered with monotonous strings of numbers and letters. You are patiently flipping through the measurement results from one of the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence telescopes, the ones searching for extraterrestrials, used to not finding anything out of the ordinary. But suddenly your gaze falls on a printout that stands out, a spike in intensity like you've never seen before. Your heart beats faster, you grab your red pen, circle that line, and almost instinctively write next to it in big letters, "Wow." That note, made almost 50 years ago, in 1977, marks the most famous, the strongest, and the most mysterious radio signal ever detected in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. A true unresolved cosmic case file. But today, thanks to some incredible work in space archaeology, scientists have reanalyzed the original archives and discovered something unexpected. The WOW signal was actually even stronger and stranger than we previously thought, and those same astronomers believe they've found its explanation. Let's see how the story began and what the new analyses tell us about the source of the WOW signal. What is its explanation? It all starts at the Big Ear Radio Telescope at the University of Stadium, Ohio, part of the first Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence projects. On August 15, 1977, the observatory recorded a signal that, a few days later, left the astronomer Jerry Ekman speechless. But what does the famous sequence SIXEQUJ5, which is written on paper, mean? No, it's not a literal message sent by aliens in the letters of our Roman alphabet, as some mistakenly believe. The letters and numbers actually encode the intensity of the signal. Normally, astronomers record the intensity with numbers between 0 and 9. And after that they move on to letters, A equals 10, B equals 11, and so on. The WOW signal went up to the letter U, which means it was about 30 times stronger than the background noise. The duration of the signal, exactly 72 seconds, is not due to the source that emitted it. It is naturally explained by the Earth's rotation on its own axis. The telescope's mirror passed through the beam's path for exactly 72 seconds, so it was normal for the signal to last that long. In addition, the 6EQUJ5 signal tells us something else. The capital letters are in the center. That means the signal had the typical profile of a real source that the telescope sweeps over as it moves synchronously with the Earth. A gradual increase, a peak, then a decrease. In addition, the signal was at the frequency of 1420 MHz, the hydrogen emission line considered by the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence project from the beginning, the perfect channel through which an advanced civilization would want to communicate with one that is just starting out like ours. However, no matter how promising it seemed at the time, the signal was never seen again. Decades of subsequent observations have not detected anything similar in that area of the Sagittarius constellation. Over time, the WOW signal has remained almost impossible to reanalyze. The reason is that the data was locked on paper. The Big Ear Observatory closed in 1998, but through an extraordinary effort by volunteers, over 75,000 pages were saved, with data from 1977 to 1984. These were photographed, scanned, and turned into a CD 1.0. Using optical character recognition and manual validation, researchers were able to analyze the signal for the first time with modern methods, a true exercise in space archaeology. The new analysis carried out by the Archival WOW project changed some of the original conclusions. Here are a few. The location uncertainty was reduced by 2/3, and the new position is shifted by about 7.25 arc minutes compared to the initial estimates. The intensity is not between 54 and 212 Jansky, a unit of energy density, as previously thought, but over 250 Jansky, a very high level for a distant source, comparable only to magnetars or pulsars. The frequency corrected to 1420.720 Jansky, which shows that the source was approaching the Sun at about 84 km per second. The Doppler effect. That is, of course, if the frequency had been exactly that of hydrogen. In addition, new analyses showed that the signal could not have been an internal error of the telescope and was not interference from Earth either. The frequency was protected, meaning there were restrictions in that band to help radio astronomers. In addition, there were no satellites, which would have passed very quickly through the beam, and no solar activity either. Everything points to an astronomical origin. The astronomers who reanalyzed the WOW signal, the one believed to have come from extraterrestrials, came up with a very realistic hypothesis. As for what it actually was, they say it was a natural, transient event, an explosion coming from a cold hydrogen cloud in our galaxy. The event could last longer. We only observed 72 seconds of it due to the Earth's rotation. Such clouds, made up of neutral hydrogen, can act as a natural amplifier when hit by a strong burst of radiation from another source. In this drawing, you can see what can happen in the upper right corner. We have a powerful burst of energy, like the one generated by a magnetar eruption or a strong gamma-ray explosion. In the gamma range, the radiation reaches the hydrogen cloud. The radiation will trigger a process of population inversion, in which the atoms are pumped into excited states. When the atoms de-excite, the hydrogen cloud enters a superradiance regime, suddenly emitting a coherent and narrow signal around the hydrogen line. That is exactly what the phenomenon measured. It can produce intense emissions in line with what has been observed. The evidence supporting this hypothesis includes the detection of weaker but similar signals in interstellar clouds and the velocity analysis, which shows that the value of 84 km/s corresponds to intermediate velocity hydrogen clouds in our galactic halo, so from our own galaxy. The authors identified a hydrogen cloud in the direction from which the signal comes, and they say that cloud could be small according to their new hypothesis. However, the extraordinary intensity of the WOW signal, over 250 Jansky, remains unmatched, because no cloud observed so far has produced such a strong emission. The measured values are below 1 Jansky, so to be honest, the hypothesis of a hydrogen cloud activated by another energy source is not set in stone yet, although it is very likely. The story of the WOW signal shows me how, with patience, scientific explanations appear for things that are not obvious at first when they are observed. The hydrogen cloud hypothesis seems realistic to me. It's possible that in the near future we might detect a signal of similar intensity from another hydrogen cloud. On the other hand, the fact that the received pulse has a Gaussian shape means that it is not essentially a signal, meaning it contains only a single bit of information. There was something strong there, but it could be something natural. There's no question of a message with encoded bits. What do you think? Are you on the side of the hydrogen cloud theory, or do you believe that the 250 Jansky peak leaves room for a small chance? Could it have been a message from aliens? Leave a comment, give a like, and subscribe for more fascinating stories from the cosmos. This was today's video. If you haven't subscribed yet, you can do it right now by clicking this subscribe button. I thank those who supported me on Patreon. There you can get answers directly from me to your questions. Until next time, I am Christian Prasura. I wish you all the best. Goodbye.